Buenos dias from beautiful Matagalpa, Nicaragua. It is Monday. I haven't posted in a few days, but a couple successes have happened. May seem minor in the U.S. from day-to-day living, but little feats of magic have occurred. So through multiple trips to the store, I found some of the simplest things the hardest to find because I'm in a different culture, different region that shops differently. One, I was on an internal quest for a French press to do my coffee. I needed an electric tea kettle. Found local coffee. That part was easy, although I haven't found whole bean. It's already been pre-ground, so I've had to put the look for a coffee grinder on hold for the moment. I did find an electric kettle. I cleaned it, I prepped it, seasoned it, used a little bit of white vinegar, boiled it out twice, rinsed it, let it set overnight, and that was exactly the 2 times it worked before it failed. So then I had to find a new one, did the same thing to that one. That one is still working. So this morning I poured myself my own freshly brewed coffee for the first time since I've been in Nicaragua. Yay, win. Second, going to the store. So the store normally means going to a couple different places to get the best value. I have not been going to the local produce markets to get the best price because right now with my limited Spanish, I'm not going to get the best price. I have been going to the higher end supermarkets for the most part, getting what I needed, and had to go on another quest. I was looking for something as simple as a measuring cup, like, you know, a Pyrex Anchor brand glass measuring cup, regardless if it was US standard or metric. I've visited 12 stores so far, and to this day I have not seen an actual measuring cup. I finally went to what is referred to as one of the China stores because they are loaded with things from large containers, kind of like a dollar store in the US. They are either run by Chinese people or are filled entirely with Chinese import. Anyways, they have no rhyme or reason what's in house. It depends on what was on sale, what they could fill in a container at the time. So again, much like a dollar store, Dollar General store type thing. I did find measuring cups. About 8 different size cups all seated together, made out of a very inexpensive plastic. Lo and behold, the measuring cups do not have measurements marked on them. Is what it is. I'm pretty good about eyeballing a teaspoon from a tablespoon. I'm pretty good at, the largest one is almost a cup. It's almost 4 ounces. But the everything in between, I have no guess what size they're supposed to be other than they all sit together. So that's been interesting. I did manage to cook my first breakfast in the house. So I've been in country just under 7 weeks. I spent 6 weeks in hotels. I'm just about to finish my first week here at the apartment. And yesterday I did my prep work. I cooked up my red beans, let them sit in the fridge overnight. I cooked up my white rice, let that sit in the fridge overnight. Today I put the 2 together. I had sauteed some pickled onion and garlic in olive oil. I had found some nice, simple, small, street-sized tortillas, but they're real tortillas. There's actual body to them. And when I went to the store yesterday, I stopped for the first time at the local convenience store. I managed to find 3 pre-made pupusas that were bean and cheese. So I hadn't found cheese yet. I hadn't gone out of my way to pick up anything refrigerated at the supermarkets with the length of walking I was doing prior. Today I did buy cheese and table crema. So tomorrow will be a full-blown breakfast. This morning's was pretty good. So I had a small pupusa. I had a single tortilla that I did a quick fry in the oil with the onion and garlic along with the beans and rice, and I made a pretty good gallo pinto tortilla and pupusa with my fresh cafe this morning. So first of many breakfasts to come. It was a relatively large batch. I'm using a dual gas range. So I have a bunch of the beans and rice already divvied up in a couple containers, and upon some review online I read we're freezing it after produced to reheat later will actually make it lower glycemic. So anything I can do to help with the insulin type, since I am pre-diabetic, been pre-diabetic like most of the nation for many years, and using diet as part of my whole health strategy going forward. Whatever I can do with the staple foods that make them healthier in the process, it's a great thing. I had shared before, most of the food products I have purchased so far are not only made in country, but they're actually made in this departamento, which is the equivalent to a county. I can honestly say right now, with what I've prepared for a meal in-house, about 80% of the ingredients are produced, grown, harvested, packaged within 10 miles of where I'm currently at. And then the rest of it is either Managua for the pupusa. I do have a couple ingredients here that were pre-packaged materials that are made in Costa Rica. Haven't used those yet, but olive oil is from Spain. The white vinegar I have is Goya brand, so that's a Puerto Rican brand. But even the hot sauce, so Nicaragua is not really known for hot sauces and hot peppers. And traditionally, people don't add a lot of hot sauce to their food here. Other Latin American countries do, but not Nicaragua expressly. I have Piro Bravo, which is actually a hot sauce made in Guatemala, Matagalpa. I picked up some honey today, which is locally produced. I've actually passed the honey distillery in my drives through here. The onion powder is from this area, of all things. The pickled onions are from here. The minced onion, or minced garlic, is from in country. So trying to stick to a local diet, much of that does it. When I have my own full-blown long-term rental with a much larger kitchen, I'll go back to traditionals and I'll be using avocado oil versus the olive oil. There's a lot of health benefits to avocado oil, like there is olive, but you're able to cook at higher temperatures with it. So I've been using that exclusively as a cooking oil for about 2 years. So getting established into cooking my own meals. So the goal here is I'll have breakfast every day at the apartment, and then I'll go out for one meal a day. I only eat twice a day right now. Short of the 2 cappuccino especials I have at Brooklyn Cafe pretty much daily. That I'll probably still do the 2 cappuccino especials, and I'll have a cup of fresh brown coffee here in the mornings. So that's on the food side. The other win of the day was today was my first private lesson of Spanish. So I have about a 25 minute walk to the class, which is on the south central end of Matagalpa. So I met my instructor for the first time today. Her name is Hazel. Great, got along great, did an hour-long class, and I'm getting a rate of $8 US an hour for tutorials. So I'm looking to spend $40 a week for a 1-hour class, Monday through Friday. This week's a little short because I'm flying out on Friday back to Florida and coming back on Sunday, so I can pick up some of those meds that I've talked about in previous video. So an inconvenience, but I do get to fly back home very quickly, see family for a day, load up the meds, swap a few things, check local postage, and come back here in earnest until I fly back at the end of June for about 2.5 weeks. More VA appointments. Hopefully I'll have the Redencia already established by that point. And now that I'm starting the routine of class and breakfast here, starting to fill my day and with some regularity, I was offered by the host here of the Airbnb to ride along up into the mountains at some other residential neighborhoods, barrios, Redencias and such, and look at where some potential places are for me to rent. So that's great. I have not mastered public transportation locally. I have used local cabs in town. I got gringo price both times. I just double checked on some prices with some people online through our WhatsApp group. And the first time I paid 50 cord, which is less than $2 for a half-mile drive. And the second time I had all my luggage for a shorter distance, and they charged me 200 cord, which was like 750 US. Not earth-shattering money. The principle of it is my Spanish is poor, I don't look local, gringo taxed. It is what it is. Once my Spanish improves and I learn local customs and prices on a better condition, I'll be able to haggle a little better. I won't be treated like the average gringo. At least I'll have a ground to stand on. So yeah, a couple of the first. The class I started today, got to go to a couple different grocery stores. I managed to go to a China shop. I've managed to go to the local convenience store. I dropped off laundry today. Luckily for me, the one public laundry service. It's not a laundromat where you use the machines. It is laundry done by hand and hung dry to air dry. There is one service in a city of over 100,000 people. She happens to be 2 blocks down the street. So I dropped off laundry this morning at 8 a.m. I pick it back up tomorrow at 5 p.m. And the last time I did that was when the hotel I was staying at, their machines were down. I was charged 300 cord, so we're talking less than $8 for a week's worth of laundry to be done. I have about the same amount of clothes I dropped off today, and expect to be about the same price tomorrow. So if we extrapolate that, and let's just say I put in $10 a week for laundry US, you know, we're talking $40 a month, not having a machine, not actually washing it, not buying laundry detergent, not buying dryer sheets, not doing maintenance on equipment. $40 a month for laundry is a pretty good price. Same thing, $40 a week for 5 hours of one-on-one tutorial for Spanish. Not a bad price at all. You'd pay much greater for somebody to do that in the States, and I'm dealing with somebody who was born and raised here to learn the local idiom of the Spanish. So that has all gone well. I did make it out to a few more restaurants. I did manage to go to a few restaurants that weren't open. Sunday I tried to go to a local soup restaurant for the traditional sopa de res, which is a beef soup. And coincidentally, which is right across the street from the laundry place, and they weren't open on Sunday. At least if they were open on Sunday, I got there too late in the afternoon at 3, which again is surprising because sopa de res is often a very popular weekend meal, like a nacatamal. So wasn't able to get my soup. I walked by there this morning. They were open, so at least I know that they're not permanently shuttered. And I managed to go to a restaurant on Saturday that I thought I was going to go to on Friday, but just ran out of steam. La Caserona. They do karaoke on Friday and Saturday nights. I was interested to see what that looks like. So a family restaurant, like many of the restaurants here are, because the whole culture is family-centric, other than going to like the disco, which I've already explained before. When I went to Woods Lounge, I was the oldest person in the building. It was kind of funny. But I went to La Caserona and had a steak dinner, and the food was great. The service was good. You actually had to go downstairs to get into the main room, and in traditional Nika format, the music that was being played between the karaoke and the karaoke itself was at 90 decibels. It wasn't at 100 or 110 like the disco had been. But it was interesting. So I watched pretty much 2 families at 2 different tables pass the mic about. You could tell that they were regulars for the karaoke, like in the States. When you go to see karaoke places, you'll have the regulars that are there every week that do the same songs or the same rotation of songs. That was going on, and then I saw a 5-pack of gringos that I recognized that are staying at a hotel about 50 yards from here. And I saw them come in with a handful of locals, and they took the palest, sunburnt member of the group. Looked like he came straight out of the winter of Boston, and they tried to get him to sing Spanish, and I was actually paying my bill at the time. And before I know it, these guys are passing me walking on the street back to their hotel. So their quick step was faster than my quick step. But obviously he did not stick around to try to sing in Spanish. So that was kind of funny. They were trying to get the gringo to do the Espanol, but he no poquito. So it was no hablo of the Espanol for him, not even little bit. So that's kind of what's been going on. I make it to the Brooklyn Cafe on a daily basis. I've done breakfast out in town a couple times. I've tried to go to a local restaurant down the street, and you know the food must be good because I went for a traditional Nica breakfast of gallo pinto, tortilla, queso, no huevos for myself. And every time I've gone over there, there is not a seat to be had. So that speaks volumes to the quality of the food. So I have had breakfast a couple times over at Brooklyn Cafe. Great food. I've never had bad food service or drinks there. That is a high-end cafe on more like North American standards. It is on the 3rd floor. It's where I took the balcony shots that were so gorgeous. It is air-conditioned, climate-controlled, high-end across the board. I've also gone to Diagon Alley, which is the Harry Potter themed restaurant that or cafe that I've spoke about. Took a couple pictures of. Had breakfast there twice now. The food's great. It's a quaint little themed place. They've really done a good amount of detail to it. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but either way, they did a good job in the decorations and the theming and the menu. And just a really comfortable spot. So between breakfast, they do dinner. A friend of ours on the WhatsApp group that's been living here longer, Federico, just posted they did a jazz night, and he did a little video sample of it, and the music was great. Obviously, I don't understand the vocals, but the performance was great. So the only discouraging things I've run into is I have not found rock music per se. I mentioned I went to the patio of Woods Lounge and I watched a band do tune-up for an hour, do one song, and then break for dinner. And I did not bring my earplugs that night. That was the first night out that I should have brought earplugs. It wasn't the 3rd night out that I should have brought earplugs. So I have them. I just don't forget. I forget them every time to put them on my belt loop. But there is not rock music in Matagalpa per se. There was a rock bar here that closed within the last year. I conferred with some other friends on WhatsApp. There was also one in Leon that's closed. And I did find Ronconrolas in Managua where the Pink Floyd tribute band was playing, and that was a great place. That's almost a 2.5 hour drive from here, so a lot to go to a bar where I'm drinking club soda. But I'm hoping in the future they will bring in more rock-oriented music. Now, by that being said, I am more than eager to go listen to local live music. I just haven't got my finger on the pulse of where to go yet. And I will. You know, again, I've been in town just under 3 weeks. So I'm not in a rush to do anything. I've learned one of the key phrases I've learned here is "Jubilado no tengo prisa," which means I'm retired, I'm not in a hurry. Trying to embrace that, what people refer to as Nika time. I don't like shortcutting that. People used to say it was island time. People say it's this time, it's that time. And they normally mean it in a negative way. If you understand there's a cultural difference that the express punctuality is less important, but being there when you should be there is of greater importance. So again, it's just a cultural difference. I'm still being punctual. Like for class today, I was there 10 minutes early because I've been 10 minutes prior to stuff my whole life. Someday down the road, I'll probably have a better appreciation of how far my language lessons have come the day I show up late and give an excuse entirely in Nika Spanish. Then I'll know I've obtained a new level of cultural awareness and acceptance. But the restaurants have been good for the most part. I did report to some people on the WhatsApp. There is a fair amount of begging. It is a large city. I haven't witnessed a crime. I did witness one quote-unquote violent act, and that was somebody that pissed off one of the vendors in the main park, and the main park that I was doing all the videos from. And I noticed the vendor had a small stick in his hand, and he hit this guy 2-3 times, and the guy ran off. And then I mentioned I met the local crazy. Local crazy looked over at me amigo, a big bear hug, and then hit me up for money. And I'm pretty good about telling people, no donero, no Cordoba, just plastico. You know, I don't carry cash, I just have my credit cards. And the hands went up near my neck and he started to do a soft choke and I pushed off and said, nunca, I said, never. And he straightened up and he smiled at me and bye-bye. And the locals looked relieved that I didn't hurt him. I didn't feel I was truly threatened, but I was putting a stop before anything got